Hey everybody, Mac Turner with the Save Acworth History Group. We're back out here today, and well everybody, here we are. Everybody's been wanting to know about the Christian church and what's going to be done with it. Well, today it starts right here with this video. I'm out here with Becca Keenel and Betsy Brown. Betsy's going to be speaking in a minute. I wanted to give the physical address of this church. It's located at 4476 Northside Drive, Acworth, but physically it's right across the railroad from the Acworth Post Office. So if anybody's watching this video and don't know where it is, that's where it's located. This church has fallen on hard times basically in the last decade or so. A lot of it, the congregation got older. A lot of them have passed away, like Betsy's mother. And the church kind of started to go down, and so did the amount of the congregation. But I give them all the credit. They've held it together, and they're still having church here, even though it's a small group. Our group, Save Acworth History, started negotiating with this church before the pandemic, and of course we know what happened there. The whole world got shut down. We recently got started back, and we've reached a memorandum of understanding with the church and have that signed, and basically we're ready to go. Working with the church, Cobb Landmarks, the city of Acworth, we have applied for the church for a local historic landmark status, and that will give the church protection going forward. We've opened up a bank account with Regions Bank, and to disperse the funds of this fundraising, we have a 5-person finance board made up of 2 members of our group, 2 of the church board, and 1 of the Acworth city government. If you look behind me at the church, the roof is one of the main things that needs repairing. I wanted to give a shout out to A1 Construction, Mike Minnick. Our group donated $1,500 to get minor roof repair done, because we literally, the first few times we had a meeting, it was raining right in the church. They had buckets there. So he came out and fixed this roof for $1,500, and I know he took one for the team. So Mike Minnick, thank you. I'm going to be speaking about how you can donate shortly. I'm going to let Betsy come up and tell you about the history of this church and her family's involvement in it, and I'll be back shortly to give you the donation instructions. Let's get this done, everybody.
I'm Betsy Brown, and I don't like following Mac, but today I just had to. When we first started talking about helping with the restoration of the Acworth Christian Church, it was something that tugged at my heart, because back in the 60s, when I was a teenager, my family was part of this church. It was the place where I learned to become a church pianist, and I banged out those old hymns, which are still the best, by the way. And when Johnny and I got married, it was right in this sanctuary where we said our vows. When it was time for our first baby to be born, the ladies of the church actually gave me a shower, baby shower, and it occurred in the parsonage that's now on the market for sale. So all of this is just so close to me. But what I didn't realize until the congregation helped me by showing me the documents that they had saved through the years, I didn't realize what an amazing history this church had. The first record we have of this church is in 1858, and there was a meeting going on, church congregation on Mitchell Hill, and it stayed there and it thrived. But the Civil War came along, and of course Reconstruction was hard on everybody, and during the war the building that was on Mitchell Hill was dismantled and used as shanties, little shacks for the Union soldiers to stay in while they were encamped here in Acworth. The next mention that we have of a church here is one that was built in 1875 on this same property, but it preceded this building. The church in 1875 thrived in this location, and then, wouldn't you know it, again in 1899 a tragedy came along and this church burned to the ground. Rather than be defeated, the courage and the strength that this congregation's always had led them to rebuild, and in 1901 this church actually opened its doors. Another fascinating story that goes along with the Christian church is its founder, Nathan Smith. He was a person who came here with his family in 1849. He was already an established evangelist, but he led the church through the establishment on Mitchell Hill, down here, and unfortunately he died in 1899, so he never got to see the 1901 church opened. But another amazing thing about Nathan Smith is that he wasn't just a person who was an evangelist. He was passionate in everything he did. He was one of the first schoolmasters that were ever here in Acworth, and he was also the first worshipful master of the Acworth Masonic Lodge. So you can see that the history of this church is so integrated and intertwined with the actual history of Acworth. I was amazed when I read all of these documents. And you know, we're in Acworth and here comes a train, but I believe that if there's ever a time when we for any reason can't ride down Main Street and see the silhouette of this church rise above the tracks, we'll be a poorer place. So thank you in advance.
Folks, we had to take a little break there for the train to come by, but we are in Acworth, you know. But I want to give you a little information on the fundraiser. As Betsy said, the church has a parsonage house that they have owned since 1959. That's on the market now. We hope it's going to sell, and that will help out a lot with this restoration, but it's not going to be nowhere nearly enough. Everybody who donates to this project will be recognized in several ways. There will be a ledger inside the church. It'll be there forever, saying who donated and what have you. We have a Facebook page with thousands of members. Everybody who donates will be recognized on that Facebook page, and that will go into a file. So that'll always be there also. But we're going to have a plaque, and here's the information on the plaque. We don't know where the plaque's going to be, outside, inside the church. My preference is I'd like to have it out here close to the street where people can see it when they're walking by. But the plaque, if you donate $250, you will have a silver denomination on the plaque. $500 donation would be a gold donor, and $1,000 or higher would be a platinum donor. And like I say again, we don't yet know where the plaque's going to be. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, but it will be a neat thing to be on. Here are the ways you can donate. This video will have a GoFundMe attached to it, where I don't know if will it have a link on it, or how are we going to do that?
I don't know, because I haven't set it up.
Okay, but it will have a GoFundMe with it. Sorry about that. You can go by any Regions Bank and donate in the name of the Acworth Christian Church Restoration Fund. So any Regions Bank, and again, Acworth Christian Church Restoration Fund. You can mail it to our address, Save Acworth History Foundation, or you can abbreviate that, SAHF, and our address is 4857 North Main Street, Acworth 30101. And I've already talked to Regions Bank. Instead of writing out that whole name on the check, just put ACC Restoration Fund. And that will, so let me go back over these one more time. You can donate through the GoFundMe with this video. You can go by any Regions Bank and donate in the name of the Acworth Christian Church Restoration Fund, or you can mail it to SAHF, 4857 North Main Street, Acworth 30101. And on that check, you can just put ACC Restoration Fund. Folks, let's get this done. We want everybody in town to feel like they're a part of this, and it's a big project, but we're up to it. So all we need is you. Thank you, everybody.